Remember how I said I want to have more friends, I want to be more social, I want to go out more, I want to have more fun, and most importantly, I want to host more? Well, last week we did a whole brunch episode, and this week we're doing party food. But when I say party food, I don't mean like ordering pizza and putting out a bowl of chips, or even worse, a fucking bag of chips. I mean like hors d'oeuvres, canapés, like fancy shit, but made vegan, made healthy, made yummy, made beautiful, and I dress the part, so let's get into it. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do some steaming and some roasting. We're gonna start by dropping a bunch of potatoes on the ground. You know, that's what everyone likes to do when they're hosting. So I have all these baby potatoes. I got the rainbow ones just for funsies, no other specific reason. And then I also have baby Japanese sweet potatoes. So we're gonna steam those. You can roast them. I talk about this a lot, but the reason, you know, I'm just gonna dump it in here instead of throwing them everywhere. The reason I like to steam over roasting is it's just better for you. Apparently it leads to fewer AGEs, which I think stands for advanced glycation end products, something like that. And they actually cause aging, I guess. I don't know. So it's not just an aesthetic thing, it's a whole health thing. You know, I'm just gonna steam all of these, whatever. You can roast your potatoes though, but I am gonna roast some Brussels sprouts, and that's just like, to me, a steamed potato, yum, yum, yum. Steamed sweet potato, Japanese sweet potato, even better. Like, I actually prefer them steamed to roasted versus a Brussels sprout. Like, you're not gonna find a lot of people, like, you're not gonna please your guests if you steam your Brussels sprouts, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna go put this on the pot of water that I have boiling there, and then we're gonna get to our Brussels sprouts, and then we're gonna move on. Now that those are in the oven, I'm just gonna have these Brussels sprouts, and we'll get them on our baking tray and throw those in the oven. I have the oven preheating to 450 Fahrenheit, not Celsius. I use the convection roast setting, which my understanding is, and I'm not an oven expert, this may come as a shock to you, so I could be wrong, but my understanding is that the convection setting circulates the air better. And I've heard that air fryers are literally just convection roasters. Like, it's just your oven on convection roast setting, so. I don't know if that's true, but that's my understanding of it. And I actually like when a few leaves come loose. I feel like they get really crispy. It's kind of like Brussels sprout chips. Just saying. I'm not gonna lie, I actually purposefully bought the jumbo Brussels sprouts because I was like, it's like less slicing that way. I do love a raw Brussels sprout too, by the way, not for this type of purpose, because like, whatever, you'll hear it. But I like doing a shaved raw Brussels sprout salad with a good, like, equivalent of a honey Dijon dressing. I do it without honey. I have a really good one, actually. If you're interested, DM me and I'll send you the ingredients for it. Remember when Brussels sprouts had like their PR year? I think it was around 2014, 2013, something like that. Like, before Brussels sprouts were like the gross stinky food. And then people learned that you can roast them, and they just got so popular. Like, all the fancy restaurants started to have Brussels sprouts on the menu, and they were just all the rage. It's kind of like banana bread in 2020, you know, everyone kind of goes through their phase. I feel like that may or may not have hit Australia though, because someone in Australia once said to me, ew, no one here eats Brussels sprouts. And I was like, well, you guys are like 20 years behind. So maybe in a few years, you'll find out that Brussels sprouts are cool now. Now, I sincerely hope that you could not see inside of that drawer, but if you could, please don't judge me. It's a bit of a shit show. Okay, so we're spraying this with a little bit of avocado oil. I just have the Trader Joe's one because it's the same as all the other brands, but it's way cheaper. I'm gonna put this in, And then I'm gonna go grab my mandolin and a mandolin glove, and we're gonna go in on the next thing that we're gonna roast. Okay, so I'm attaching the julienne blade, whatever, the blade to make it like ribbons to my mandolin. You can do this by hand, but can't be fucked, you know? And I wanna make sure, actually this should be a good thickness, but I might have to adjust. So we're just gonna shred some tofu. I have been obsessed with this tofu. I get it from the Asian grocer. If you can't get this, any firm tofu will work. Actually, a brand that I think works really, really well for this purpose, and you can get it at Whole Foods and stuff, is, I think it's called Hodo, I think. I'll put it in the, I don't know if you know, but every episode I put like all the links and stuff for everything in the episode. So I'll find it and I'll put it in there. Some of them are affiliate links, like I do it on my affiliate link platform, but truthfully, a lot of them don't even like do an affiliate payout. I just do it that way so you have it all in one place and you don't have to dick around too much on the internet. So yeah, I'm just shredding this. When I was watching the Nowruz, the Persian New Year's episode with my parents, which by the way, there's like a 5-minute segment in that episode where I'm making jokes about my dad's pickles and how incestuous that sounds and how I should start an OnlyFans that's incest themed around my dad's pickles. And then one of them squirted and I kept making jokes about it. And I watched that whole thing with my parents, I'll have you know, before we all slept in the same room. So there's incest for you right there. I honestly, I'm not sure that they got it. One of the perks of having foreign parents, like they don't always get things. It was a real sleigh when I was in middle school or so. And when my parents would drive my friends and I places, like we could listen to any music that we wanted. Cause I think they just like weren't really picking up on all the cursing and like, you know, bad stuff in the rap songs. Taking advantage of foreign people isn't that fun. And I can say that because I'm foreign. And I'm obviously making a joke. Okay, so I'm just gonna be here until the end of time shredding this. I'm gonna go check on those potatoes in a second. And this really doesn't have to be perfect, as you can tell by my lack of perfection. Okay, just one more. Did I need to do this much? No, but I did, so here we are. Can't do anything about it now. I'm actually gonna eat a bit of this tofu because I love it. Okay, good enough. I'm just gonna check on this guy for a second. Ow. Ooh, it smells so good. Oh yeah. All right, so I have my shredded tofu in a bowl. I'm just gonna add some gochujang to this, and I'm not measuring this. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it and get it nice and mixed. Love using something so pigmented and red when I'm wearing an all white outfit. Do I own an apron? Yes. Could I be using an apron right now? Yes. Should I be using an apron right now? Probably. You know what? I'm gonna pull out the fucking apron in a second when I'm done with the messiest and most pigmented part of this. You know what? I'm gonna grab the apron right fucking now. No. Fuck. Okay, much better. This feels much safer. Watch me I'm gonna get it all over like the one part that's not covered by the apron, you know? Oh, this smells so good. And we're gonna roast this too, by the way. Oh, by the way, there are blush aprons available. I don't know if that's the type of thing that interests you, but they exist. If it is something you'd wanna buy, do let me know. They're 100% cotton. I would love to have done linen, but the company that I use for custom merch just doesn't have linen aprons available last I checked. Maybe they do now. Do you want merch? Would you would you buy merch if I make more merch? Because I have a few merch designs that are sick. I have this sweatshirt that's so beautiful that literally my mom and my sister-in-law asked for it, and like, they're not, I don't want to say they're not supportive. They're so supportive. My mom especially is so supportive. I just mean, okay, my sister-in-law, like, she's beautiful and really well dressed, and she wouldn't just buy a blush sweatshirt just to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, if she wants to buy it, it's cute. Okay, I'm just gonna dump this onto this bit of parchment paper and get it ready for the oven. I do want to check on the Brussels though. Yeah, they could use a little bit more. I'm not going to do too much more. And once we do this, we're just going to set it aside and move on to the next thing that we're doing, which will be a surprise to both of us. We are going to spread this out into a thinner layer so it can kind of crisp up, and it'll go into the oven when the shit's done. Wait, I do want to eat some of it though, because it looks so good. It just looks so good. I'll spray it with a little avocado oil so it can crisp up. That's it. I'll just put it aside for now and move on to the next thing. Okay, we're back. I'm so excited. By the way, I turned the potatoes off. They're good, they're done, they're ready. The Brussels sprouts, I'm just gonna give them a few more minutes. I want them to really char, and then we'll swap it out. But now we're gonna do this. Okay, I have been trying to create vegan caviar. I don't know. Ozzy, how long have I been trying to do vegan caviar? The entire time we've been together, would you say? Yeah. I have tried everything you could possibly imagine. I've tried like the full fucking molecular gastronomy, like a scientist with these crazy powders trying to do, I mean, I got out my like lab equipment, didn't work. I've tried it with agar powder, didn't work. I've tried so many ways. I tried to do like chia caviar, which is actually really, really fun. Marinate chia seeds in tamari, delicious. Like, I think chia seeds work so much better in savory than sweet contexts for me personally. Really delicious, but never quite got the visual of caviar. Now, one thing that works really well, I think, is those really long blackberries or even mulberries, black mulberries. Soaking those in tamari will give kind of a caviar feel, and it kind of looks like when fancy restaurants do like a really, like the Polo Bar at the Beverly Hills Hotel in California. I think they do a baked potato with a really long line of caviar, so it kind of looks like that, but you still get the seeds inside the blackberry, and it's very distracting. So I think all of those are fine options, but I recently came across sea grapes, which is a literal vegetable. Like, they're a sea vegetable, you know, think like seaweed, whatever. These ones are off of the vine. These ones are on the vine. The ones that are on the vine are easier to work with. The ones that are off the vine are, you know, more caviar adjacent. And all you do with these, I'll link them, I got them on Amazon, is you just rehydrate them in water if you can get the package open. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now these come in this weird, like, disgusting tea bag situation. And what I first tried to do was soak them, because they're green, right? So I wanted them to be more black, because that's what the most fancy caviar is like. And ooh, it's stinky, much like caviar is. Sorry, I'm very distracted by Sam, who is just so cute and also insisted on sitting on the couch and facing in this direction, which she literally never does. By the way, this does kind of look like caviar, right? We're gonna rehydrate it though. It's really stinky. Gross. But yeah, like, the most expensive caviar is the most black. So I tried to soak them in tamari to get them more black and more salty. But something about the tamari, I guess it's osmosis, made them shrivel all the way up. So that is a no-go. I know that there's a drawstring here, but I chose not to use it, and that is how we're living our journey today. Okay, I'm also gonna do a packet of these sea grapes, like the ones that are still on the vine. It's a lot of opening packets. Okay, that's my one complaint with this product. Okay. Ugh, disgusting. So this is what I ended up doing. Activated charcoal. You can't really see because it's below the water line, but they're starting to plump up already. All right, I'm gonna move this mess to the side, wash my hands, get myself nice and cleaned up, and then we'll come back and we'll do some other stuff. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of prep work. Now we're gonna make our first actual hors d'oeuvre canapé vibe. But I will say this one, if you were to stage them, like put them out one at a time or something, this would not be the first thing that I would pass out. This would be towards the end, but that's neither here nor there. And while we're at it, I have not one iota of a clue if this is actually gonna work. I hope it works. I don't know though. And I will say I'm actually really doing this for my Aussie because he loves chocolate mint flavor. Like he likes it in ice cream and stuff. So I had this idea, and by had this idea, I mean, I saw it on Pinterest. Let's be clear. So this is a microwave safe bowl, and these are date sweetened chocolate chips. I've had the dark chocolate before. The milk chocolate is also vegan. They use oats to make it milky. I've never had the milk, but they were out of the dark today, so I just got the milk. Delicious. And they have the best ingredients. I might prefer the dark between us. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on the melt and soften section of the microwave. And by section, I mean program. So we're gonna melt that, and we are going to try and hopefully succeed in dipping mint leaves into the chocolate. We'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of pulling the best mint leaves. I'm looking for ones that are not too wrinkly, but also kind of broad, so there's surface area. And what we're gonna try to do is dip the front half in, but not the back half. Just gonna check on it. Oh, also I took the Brussels out of the oven and put the tofu in case you were not aware. Looks good. These guys are coming along really nicely, by the way. They might not get black from soaking this quick, but if you soak it overnight, which honestly you probably should, then they'll be good. I think I have some in the fridge, I'll show you. I wanna make sure this chocolate doesn't burn. Oh fuck, part of it's already burnt. That's great. All right, let's see what we can do here. Honestly, looks pretty fucking good. Now, if I can find some really flaky sea salt, like Maldon salt, I think I'm gonna flake that on top. If not, I actually have another idea that I think could be even cuter. Wait, this is so easy and so cute. There's really no reason not to do this. And I think it could be a nice, almost palette cleanser vibe. Not quite palette cleanser, but you know what I mean? Like it's just like minty, fresh. What the fuck am I talking about? What am I saying? What do I mean when I say it's minty, fresh? What? Wait, this is adorable. Not me stealing ideas off Pinterest. And I think I really contemplated passing it off as my own, if we're being fully honest here. Yummy. Okay, I'm gonna do just one more and then flake it with some salt. Let's see what we have. Yeah, this stuff makes shit beautiful. Do we need this much of it? No, probably not. I think the miso salt could be really, or the dried miso could be really pretty here too. But I don't know, I feel like I've been doing a lot of miso work lately. Seems like way too much salt. Wait, this looks so pretty. I love it. I'm not gonna add anything else. I thought about adding the miso salt. I think it could aesthetically be nice because it does have a different color, but I think it would be too much. I think let's keep it as it is, huh? Wait, I think I need a photo. Okay, I'm gonna try one even though it's not dry yet. Wait, no, maybe I should wait. I'm not gonna try one yet. Let's just move on to the next thing we're gonna do. Okay, I took out the other blade from the mandolin and I made it a little bit thinner. I'll see, like you want this part to be quite thin. We're just gonna mandolin some cucumber lengthwise. This might be too thin. Could work. You also could use a veggie peeler for this. The mandolin's a little bit easier, but if you don't want to invest in a mandolin, and when I say invest in, I mean, it's like 30 bucks. It's not a heavy lift. And this really is the best mandolin in my expert opinion. I've owned many, including some that are like far more expensive. This is by far the best one. Okay, no, I need to make it a little bit thicker because they're getting like holes. Yeah, okay, that's the perfect thickness. And unfortunately, there are no numbers or anything, so I can't, I mean, that I'm aware of. So, yeah, it's not really a useful conversation. This cucumber actually smells phenomenal. Okay, that should be enough. I'm just gonna move this shit to the side real quick. And I'm going to, what should I do with this mango? You know what, I need some diced mango, but I'm gonna see if I can get some mango ribbons too. Oh, there's a little black on the mango from, I've been using this knife to stir the caviar situation around. So if you're wondering what that's all about, that's what it's all about. So we'll just hold these bits. Wait, did I mention that I took the thingo out of the oven? The tofu? Okay, let me see if I can kind of like make some mandolin slices. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to flip this mango. So I just kind of made it into a rectangle. Yeah, that'll work. I always give this warning when I work with a mandolin. If you're using a mandolin, please, for the love of God, wear these mesh gloves. Otherwise, you will most likely slice a finger at some point. And as someone who's always injuring her finger, yeah, I think the mangoes are just too fibrous for a mandolin. I've tried it in the past and never gotten anywhere. I'll try making it thicker to see if that does anything for us, but my guess is no. Oh, okay. I stand corrected. Okay, good enough. All right, it's time to assemble our next hors d'oeuvre. Okay, so I got these cute little party skewers. I got ones with pearls at the end. I'll link them because there's kind of a pearl theme here in case you haven't seen my earrings and my ring. My outfit before I put on the apron. Okay, so this was my vision for this. Take a bit of cucumber, take a bit of mango. I don't know if it'll work with the mango. The mango we might just have to use, okay, a cube like this, and then make a little ribbon with it. Put a skewer through it. Great, that looks like shit. I love that for us. Wait, why does this look so bad? Okay, wait, I think it's getting a little bit better. No, I quite hate it with the mango like that, but whatever. I'm just gonna leave it for now. By the way, I'll link this platter. I got it off Etsy. You know what I think might be cuter is if the mango is on top and then we do the ribbon. There we go. There we go. I'll do just 2 more of these maybe. So all that stuff we did, by the way, with the mandolin and the mango, unnecessary. Okay, this one is like the cutest one. Maybe these guys go here. Okay, yeah, I love it now. And then we're just gonna take some chili crisp, yum yum, and just drizzle it on top. Ta-da! Okay, done with this one. Let's move on to our next one. And actually, I'm just gonna use this platter for a bunch of them, so let me just move right along and put out a few endive leaves. Now, do you say endive or do you say endive? Because I like endive, but I don't know, I think some people say endive. And that's a great story. Now again, the intention here is that everything can be picked up with your hands, like you don't need plates and stuff like that, maybe just some cocktail napkins. Okay, I'm gonna go grab some stuff and I'll see you here in a second. Okay, so I have my tofu from the oven. I'm gonna take some, do you remember, was it last episode? Yeah, it was the brunch episode, the high protein cream cheese that we made with silken tofu, I nearly said goat milk. Not goat milk, soy milk, cashews, that whole jazz. We're just using that and we're just gonna mix this together. I'm so excited for this one. Okay, and I'll bring this guy back. And as I'm sure you can surmise by now, we're just gonna stuff this inside of these endive leaves. Okay. And I'm gonna add some of this mango to this. And I'm going to use my herb shears to just chop some cilantro onto this. Yum, I actually really can't wait to eat that. It smells so good. And there's something about me today where every time I get a whiff of the cilantro, I don't know if this cilantro is particularly good or if my body just needs cilantro for some reason, but I practically salivate every time I am near this cilantro. So I can't fucking wait to eat it. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. One more thing in this platter, I think, and then we'll move on to, we have like 3 more things, 2 to 3 more things. I think, I'm gonna double check. Oh, that's incorrect, but close. All right, I'll see you in a second. Okay, this next one I'm so excited about. Also, like, I feel like my top's just fully off. I don't know what's happening anymore. Thank God I have an apron on. One time when I was early into content creation, I'd kind of alternate between doing food and lifestyle-y kind of things. And so I take photos of myself for my Instagram, which in retrospect, I'm gonna say this and I'm not insulting anyone who does it, but for me, it was like kind of cringy. And I remember I put on an apron and I was like naked underneath the apron. And I was like, ooh, this is cool. And I took all these photos and then I looked at them. I was like, yeah, this looks like a porno. Like, absolutely not. I'm not posting this. Anyway, coming right back here. So I'm just gonna move our little platter to the side for a second and use this opportunity to chop some romaine for our next little hors d'oeuvre. Now, does anyone know the difference between an hors d'oeuvre and a canapé? Is a canapé a type of hors d'oeuvre? Like, is a canapé a specific type of hors d'oeuvre is my question. Or are they kind of interchangeable terms? Do you know? Could I have looked it up? Yes. Did I? Clearly not, so, you know. Okay, that's good. Good enough. Platter comes back. We're taking our Ella's Flats minis for this, but you could use the big ones too. Oh, these are more mini than I remember them being. That's fine. I know it's really not fine, sorry. It's absolutely not gonna work. For other things it would work fine, but these are too mini for this. Hold on, I'm just gonna grab some other Ella's flats that are less mini. And you can kind of use any cracker for this, but Ella's flats are cool because they're just filled with so many different types of seeds. And they're really good for you and so crunchy and stuff. So we're just gonna do 3, which also a very random styling tip, and this doesn't just apply to food, it kind of applies to anything. Work in odd numbers. It's always gonna look better unless you're doing a very intentional kind of like Wes Anderson style situation where you want things to be really symmetrical. But most of the time, odd numbers are gonna work better. This is a vegan truffle Caesar sauce. Now you might be asking yourself, what's in this? So I prepped this the other day in preparation for this episode, and I'm gonna pull out my recipe notebook. There we go. 1 peeled lemon, 1/4 cup of miso, 1/4 cup of tamari, 2/3 cup water, 1/4 cup of white truffle oil. I'll link the one that I like. You can also use black truffle oil. I just think white truffle tastes better. It is like twice as expensive, but so if you want to go black truffle, that's fine. You can also just do it with olive oil and make it regular vegan Caesar. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I like to use whole peppercorns for this. I just think something that where pepper is such an important part of the flavor, you're gonna be better off using whole spices. 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast, 3 tablespoons of dulse flakes. Now this is what substitutes Worcestershire or anchovies that's in traditional Caesar. 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard and just a little dash of sunflower lecithin. I nearly said, oh my God, I forgot the nutritional yeast. No, that was in there. I said it. Okay, I need a spoon. So we're just gonna drizzle the dressing on top. And I purposefully am doing it on top of the lettuce because I don't want the crackers to get soggy. And then we're gonna do something cool. So remember how a while ago, like a few episodes ago, I did a grated cashew to make it look like Parmesan? Well, someone on Instagram suggested grating tempeh. I wish I could remember your name. If you're listening or watching by any chance, please do DM me so I can credit you. And I've tried it and I like it way better. Not only does it look good, but it has more of a Parmesan-like texture than grated cashew does. So I think it works really well. Plus tempeh is so good for you. So it's just fun, you know? Okay, so we're doing that. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle on a little shoyu salt. Wow, I'm really running kind of low on this. I need more. And this is mostly for vibes. Cool, this platter is done. Let's move on. We have very little left and we've done all of the lifting. Okay, now we're coming back to our Brussels. I'm gonna grab some of this cream cheese again and just smear the bottom of whatever plate or platter we're using. And then we're going to skewer our Brussels and put them in. Actually, hold on, before we do that, I just had a thought. So I have this pomegranate syrup. I was gonna drizzle it on top, which I still am going to do, but I'm also going to drizzle it on here. And then just use the end of one of these. You can use a regular toothpick. You don't have to waste your nice ones, and just kind of swirl it in to make it look pretty. Now the Brussels are probably gonna cover it, but you know, just in case. Yeah, that's stunning. Okay, now the Brussels go in. I find that Brussels do really well with something sweet. Hot take of the century over here. So that's why we're doing this. Oh, this one has no pearl. And you could also do this at a regular dinner party and not put the skewers in, but the skewers is what makes it like finger food friendly. And then make sure you don't get the skewers when you do this, because otherwise, like, how are people gonna hold it? And that's it. And then you do want to instruct your guests to really swirl it around and get all the cream and all the things. I'm going to put this aside for now. We are going to revisit everything for styling purposes shortly. Let's just move on to our potatoes. That's all we got left. There was one other thing I was going to do, but per usual, as a host, I find myself over ambitious and then I reassess and I'm like, no, we can pare way down. And this is one of those many scenarios. Okay, I have our steamed sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, and I'm just gonna make a slit, which also sounds kind of sexual. Do you think these things sound sexual too, or is there something wrong with me? Well, we know there's something wrong with me, but in this context, is something wrong with me or no? Wow, they're so hot. I'm actually so excited to eat. And these are all going to be the same. I had an original vision of doing different things, but I think this will be like really pretty and lovely. So let's just stick with tried and true. So we're going to take our little cream cheese. We're going to stuff these guys. This is so random, but Ozzy and I have a friend who is allergic to tree nuts and he's coming over tomorrow, but every time he comes over, I just have a panic attack for like 4 days beforehand because I use tree nuts so much. And actually the first time I found out he was allergic to, usually I ask people before they come over if they're allergic to tree nuts, because for vegans, like tree nuts is part of our blood. It's like part of our DNA at this point. You know, it's just like seeped into our skin. Like you shouldn't even come close to a vegan if you're allergic to tree nuts. And that being said, I do know a few vegans who are allergic to tree nuts, but that's neither here nor there. The first time he came over, it was for some kind of, you know, sports game. And this was the one time where I didn't run by people if they're allergic to tree nuts. And he'd been eating all these things, but there was just one thing where he's like, hey, this doesn't have tree nuts in it, does it? And I was like, yeah, it does. But luckily nothing he had been eating, which was just guac and salsa, so, you know, pretty safe. But again, you never know in a vegan's home, but it was nachos that gave him pause. And sure enough, the cheese that I used for queso, so the caviar isn't as black as it would be if it had been soaking for a while, like overnight, but that's fine. Of course, now I'm getting the sea grapes and the pearls mixed, but I think it's fine. Yeah, it still kind of looks caviar adjacent, you know? Now pretend it's black, please. There we go, some of these nice pearls. And it really does have kind of the vibe of caviar in that it like gushes, you know what I mean? It has the harder exterior and the softer interior. And that was really, really, really important to me in making this. I've seen some vegan caviar recipes where it's like, yeah, you can get little pearl-like things, but if it's not gonna gush, I don't want it. Okay, that is the end of our canapé hors d'oeuvre making journey, but we're just gonna style everything a little bit more, refine it down, and then we'll say goodbye. Okay, these I actually think look really cute, but I just wonder if maybe a tiny bit of bok choy flour could look good. And honestly, I'm kind of instantly regretting that decision. Let's see. Nope. We're just gonna call it on the bok choy flour. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a few of them, but not all of them. You know what? I'm liking it more and more. Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough. I think these are cutie. Yum, yum. This one's particularly cute in my opinion. Ah. Look at that guy. Love her. Okay, let's move this out of the way. This, I think, needs some kind of dusting, and I think a gochujaro or any kind of red pepper flake could work nicely here. Yeah, much better. Okay, beautiful. And then just these guys. So for these, I'd love to add a little edible flour, not to everything, but maybe just these guys. Yeah, that's cute. What do you think? Maybe even a bit here. Okay, I love that. I think that's everything. We've done the Brussels, we've done the potatoes, we have these three, and we already styled our mince, so I think we're kind of ready to go. We're ready to eat, baby. Oh, that's sick. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna taste all of these, I guess, because why not? The cucumber mango chili crisp, it's simple, it's refreshing, it's good. Let's go for one of these. Something I wouldn't mind, ooh, this is really good. The kick kind of hits after you swallow, but oh, I feel like I could take my apron off. Oh, whatever. I wouldn't mind seeing some crushed wasa cracker on this one. I think a little crunch could really add something extra. Now I feel like this one's gonna break when I bite in, but I don't care. That's delicious. That's really good. That's really, really good. I'm gonna go for a Brussels. I'm just gonna have the regular potato one. Yeah. That's honestly my favorite thing. It just feels so fancy. And then I'm gonna have one of these mint leaves. Okay, Ozzy's gonna love that. That's really good. That's really good, and it's not even dry yet. It's gonna be so good when I try it. Wait, I'm obsessed with this. Okay, I'm gonna go. This is about to be my girl dinner. I hope you enjoyed this. We have at least one more hosting, entertaining episode coming out, so if you enjoy this, there's more where it came from. Do let me know. Let me know what your favorite one is in the comments or whatever. Love you. Bye. How's that?
Good. Bit hairs on the side, it's fine. It's just a bit of a puff on the side. I'll show you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
It's fine. That's a good cut.
Okay.